Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. I'm back on a Victor 3 working on it, but I'm going to show you what Uncle Bubba's do to machines, or what people do to machines to just make the wheels go round. And this happens sometimes when you have to totally retap every hole in the machine. On this Victor 3, we have this goes in here and it sets up here. And these two screws have a little point on them. You can see the little point on this one. And there's a little point on this one. Well, this piece here, this spacer one, that screw fits in here. Then what happens is they put on the governor drive gear and they don't set it, then tighten it down. So then when you look...
Wait, they don't set it and then...
What you do is you bring this in, everything's set up, and then you tighten this gear to line up with the governor drive gear right here. And then some people leave the screw tight and then push around to move it into place. And that's not what you do. And then what that does is you see this at the end of my screwdriver, you see these nicks where they beat on it. It looks like they came in with a hammer and tried to beat up on it. And this happens a lot. And then the other thing that happens is people will take a screw like, this is a 632, and they'll put something else in it with the wrong threads. And because this brass is soft, they'll just crank down in there so it'll seat up. They'll strip out the threads. And that's what happened to this governor. I had to replace this part because that's a governor screw hole with a little screw that goes in that holds as a spring. And then you come around, when I got it, was cleaning it, and you have two big holes. So they put this screw in, which is this one here that holds it in place, and they just stuck another one in here. And then some of the screws, this is on these early Victors and stuff, some of the governor screws here, I had to change those out because you have to check the depth. I've talked about that. And people will put the governor together here, and they'll tighten the screw down, and they'll just keep tightening, and then it just spins out in the hole of the brass. And this stuff is extremely soft. So it'll hit the governor shaft, or they'll do it to these two pieces here, the governor drive gear or this spacer piece, and they'll just screw it in, and it'll hit hard, and it'll just spin. Literally, the screw will go in the hole like this, and you'll just spin it, and it'll spin out the threads.
Okay, so how did you have to fix this stuff?
I had to retap this, I had to retap this, and I had to retap everything on the governor. And then
what do you do with this spindle that's marred up?
I cleaned this up on the lathe and got rid of the edges. So now that, I talk about flexoning, so now when I put it in place, it'll go this way. And when you put on these early ones, when you put them on, this goes this way. So really, you take this collar, and that comes up and locks in there, and then you could bring this collar in, and they don't touch, and then you adjust this so it's in center line with the governor gear. But really what it is you really have to check screws, and this thing has been, they made the wheels go around, and I feel bad for the customer, and that's my tip for the day.